night of every day, the astrophysicist is invoking a full suite of sensors that brings us that much closer to the universe. Because if you only observe the night sky with a visible light telescope, expressions of our own eyeballs, you'd be missing what black holes are doing in their environment. They're dining, they're flaying stars. The outer gas layers of stars as it descends, spirals and descends down to this abyss. It radiates ultraviolet and X-rays. So the first X-ray telescope, the first thing it discovered in the universe was a black hole candidate. SCO X1, Scorpius X1. Then there was another one in the constellation Cygnus called Cygnus X1. These were sources of X-rays we were previously blind to. Turns out, black hole. Right? Black hole. So you can't claim to know the universe unless you have as many different and invoke as many different senses. Now, this point until about the turn of the century, not our century, but the 1800s to the 1900s. Until then, it was possible to do an experiment and say to yourself, that makes sense, or that doesn't make sense, and you had a good chance of being accurate in your assessment. Come the 20th century, where telescopes started getting seriously big, where atom smashers started breaking apart atoms, probing nature on levels and on scales never previously accessible to our senses. Now, what does it mean for something to make sense? For something to make sense, what that means is, if I take this bottle of water and I let go of it, what will happen to it?
Falls on the floor.
It will fall. In fact, so linked is my act of letting go to the fact of this falling in our minds that all you have to do is say to me, drop it. And that means let go. But suppose you lived in a world where 30% of the time, when you let go, this went floated to the ceiling. 30% of the time. It's only 70% of the time it fell. Well, then common sense would mean something different under those conditions. What was common is 30% of the time the thing floats up. So the word drop wouldn't even exist. Someone gasped over in the corner here. It would be, let go and let's see what happens. People be taking bets. People bet on all kinds of things. So what happens is we break the atoms, get inside, get into the universe, and a whole different world of physics opens up to us. A world of quantum mechanics, where the laws are different. Edwin Hubble discovers that our galaxy is not alone among galaxies in the universe. A great discovery of the 1920s going on simultaneously while quantum mechanics was being discovered, the science of the small. And not only that, he discovers that the galaxies are hurling away from each other. He discovers the expanding universe. A few years later, the Big Bang theory of the universe advances, with not much data but that we're expanding at the time. You turn the clock back, you find that the whole universe, the gas now occupied the same volume at the same time. You say, that doesn't make sense. How could the whole universe fit on the head of a pin? That doesn't make sense. And then you realize the universe doesn't care about your senses because we're probing it beyond the range that your senses were formulated. Our senses emerge from being born an ordinary human being in this world, breathing air, walking in 1 G's worth of gravity. That is our life. And so in modern science, we no longer require that a successful idea makes sense. And I think that's created quite a bit of confusion. But a scientist says, oh, well, the whole universe exists, and a particle pops out of existence here, and shows up there, and there's 11 dimensions, and this, and you hear this say, what's he smoking? You know? I wonder what's going on in the science of the world. That is our regime in the limitations of the 5 senses. And so the lesson there, and is that before you celebrate brilliance of our five senses, think about what it is you're not seeing. And ask yourself, what you need to know about that to claim that you know the universe. That's it.
You hit like a rad roach!
Does that hurt like a rad roach?
Not on the knowledge of nature. I'm talking about the vagabonds in the solar system. In there's like Pluto shows up, but I'm done with Pluto, okay? So let's leave Pluto alone for a night. I think it's got to get over having been Plutoed. That was the word of the year. Did you see that? Being Plutoed. Pluto. So was Pluto? Or is Pluto something else, which had to happen, and then everything else thereafter? We gotta get top of the latest on this, alright? Get a full report on that in the morning. So I believe we'll slip by that. I'm okay with that. I got like a Goldilocks. Here we are in section 4, the meaning of life. Challenges and triumphs. Oh, we got it. You gotta check those Goldilocks. Yeah, we all know.
Hammer Bros.
Now, here's my problem with the Goldilocks. Okay? I got a problem. Because if I were the Bears, and I found Goldilocks in the house, I just eat Goldilocks. Okay?
You are, comrade.
Right now, the end of the story, and the lesson is don't go busting into other people's houses. Okay? You want a lesson, there's a lesson. Alright? But they want their lesson to be a little more nuanced. So, one part is too hot, the other is too cold, one is just, well, the solar system. You can be a distance from the host star. It might be too close for water to be sustained as a liquid. If so, all the water on your planet will evaporate. Not available to you to make life. Life as we know it requires liquid water. So now if you go a little farther away, whatever water you might have if you're too far from the sun, the intensity of the sun's energy is too low, the water freezes. And once again, not available for your circulatory system. And so you imagine that beyond a certain distance, you would not find planets.
Yo, Strong is a good guy. What are you guys shooting at Strong?
This comfortable Goldilocks zone, the habitable, where you can find liquid water prevalent on the surface of the planet. Turns out you can go outside the zone and find water. But I'll get to
Okay,
that.
Strong.
Right now,
Alright, buddy.
now, turns out like greenhouse gas and tracking and what air pressure, where if the pressure's too low, you can't have liquid water. Water just straight from ice to gas. You've seen this before. It happens. It happens with dry ice. They still have the ice cream man in the park, and he opens up the thing and there's dry ice and then it's frozen carbon dioxide. You've never seen liquid carbon dioxide because the
Next
air
time,
pressure
don't
on
shoot
Earth
my
is too
buddy.
low for it to ever reach a liquid, it goes straight.
Could have been prevented.
If you have a word for that, it's called sublime. For such an odd chemical phenomenon. And so fine. So we're here on Earth, and say we're fine. We got room temperature. I'm good with that. And then you look a little to the left, you get Venus, our sister planet. It's about the same size as we are, about the same mass as we are, a lot of the same structural features. It's just a little closer to the sun than we are. If we are 1 unit distance from the sun, Venus is 0.7. So Venus is 70% of the way to us from the sun. So you say, okay, Venus, are you just like Earth? No. Venus, its atmosphere is nearly 100 times as thick as our atmosphere. That's bad enough, because you'll just get crushed. But you'd be lucky if that's all that happens here. Because the temperature on Venus, it having a carbon dioxide atmosphere, it has a runaway greenhouse effect. It is 900 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface of Venus. 900 degrees. And I did the math. You could take a 16-inch you would have been vaporized in the process. You have a cooked pizza that's just right in 9 seconds, okay? Of course, Venus is the goddess of love and beauty, and it has 900 degrees. They didn't know that when they named the planet. Now let's go a little to the right. A little bit farther from the sun than we are. We get planet Mars. Mars has
Actually, the first time I've ever been this far south.
floodplains, river deltas, lake beds. Not a single drop of water at all. But these features were made by water. We are 99% confident of that assertion. That's what water does when it flows in abundance. It makes rivers, lakes, and valleys, and river deltas. You can do a comparative geography of Earth features and Mars features, and one for one, you nail all of them. Where'd the water go? Nobody knows. We think it sunk down below the surface, froze there in a kind of permafrost situation, but there's none on the surface. Some knobs got turned on Venus and on Mars to turn into what we would consider completely inhospitable environments. Venus is 900 degrees Fahrenheit, Mars is 250 degrees below the surface. Oh, Mars is right there. Mars, among all the planets, is the most close. Yet it'll kill you post haste. So, the lesson for me is we know Mars once had water and it does not. Why not? Let's find out why. Because if we find out which knob had turned in the ecosystem of Mars, I want to know if we're turning that same knob here on Earth. We don't know that. You got people say, why are we studying the universe? We don't need to worry about Earth problems here. And I'm thinking, well, how about that asteroid coming in? You're not looking up for that one. You worried about the budget and Congress and this? We got an asteroid coming. We got a planet that has a runaway greenhouse, a planet that used to have water and does not. Excuse me. Where do you think answers are going to come from? We're not an island from the sky. Thank you. Answers are going to come from the sky. We're not some island. We're a participant in the cosmos. Vulnerable to cosmic phenomena. Not only that, there's cosmic phenomena that would give us insight into who and what we are. And if we don't have that urge, we just move back into the cave. Because that's where we'd all be. If we didn't have some fraction of us out there trying to push that frontier. It wouldn't have to be a cosmic frontier, just any frontier. Well, wonder what's on the other side of the cliff. That person doesn't come back, so that's fine. What's on the other side of the valley? It's the cliff. I meant to say mountain. Sorry. Let's start that again. So they said, what's on the other side of the mountain? They go and find out. Riches or whatever. Whatever. That's what it is. That's what it is to be here. That's why we have a space program. That's why we have the luxury of having a space program. So, I don't know. The universe, I see that. That's the ticket. That's where insights about where we a radio part of the section. Radio bubble. How do you think the aliens out there that are intelligent? How would you tell them that you're here? You send a spaceship? Our fastest spaceships ever launched. It would take 75,000, 50,000 years to reach the nearest star. That's slow. And there's a rule in science. If you do an experiment, you want to be alive when the experiment is done.
Damn, this is crazy.
They don't tell you that in graduate school.
They did an amazing job here.
Okay?
The ozone layer is completely wiped out too.
I don't think so.
That's what this, like,
Unless we
the
develop-
hue on the sky is.
Okay? That could happen. But I don't think anytime soon. Or anytime that we should be banking. So, what do? Well, you can send light. How about radio waves? That's light, a form of light. Radio waves. We have big radio telescopes. Just reverse them. Send us the signal out the other way. It will travel at the speed of light. 186,000 miles per second. It still takes a while. There's nothing close out there. Nothing. The nearest star to the sun is 4 years away, traveling at the speed of light. So it still takes a while, but you can outlive that. All right? So you do this, and you say, well, wait a minute, maybe we have a head start on this planet. Let's look back in time. How long have we been radio...
Till they broken before him.
How long have we been producing radio signals on Earth? Some of which will have leaked away from Earth.
Holy crap, these people live out here?
TV waves. The frequency that we use to communicate with television.
State your purpose.
Those go straight. If they don't hit you, they're gone. They leave the atmosphere.
You people
That's
live
why
here?
You don't, like in the old days.
Dump.
You
Remember
are
when
not
TVs
one
had
of
antennae?
Adam's
Remember that?
chosen. Save your judgment for those who care what mortals think.
You're worshipping what? Radiation? You're crazy.
Atom provides for and protects us. If you are unwilling to accept his embrace, then I suggest you leave and never return.
Do you have a moment?
What do you need of me, child?
How have you survived?
That is Adam's unique gift. He has brought us here to this place, a place that cannot harm us, so that we may worship him, so that that is our calling.
How the hell am I going to do this on my other account?
A world that does not wish to hear
It's on survival.
To show Atom's power.
And he has no defenses, nothing on endurance.
Do you have a moment?
What do you need of me, child?
Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you.
You are kind to offer.
Sure. Do you have a moment?
What do you need of me, child?
I'm looking for someone named Virgil. Have you seen him?
Yes, I know of him. What do you want with him?
I just need some information from him.
He has sought refuge with Atom.
Yeah, you're all 20 and under, I know, right.
I just need some information from him.
He has sought refuge with Atom. What
There was
do
a
you
day
want
long
with
ago
Uh-huh.
where you had to get out of your sofa to change the channel of the television
That's
set.
my business.
He has come to the
And while you
glowing
did that, you
sea
had to
seeking
adjust
Atom's
the
shelter.
antenna.
It is my business. What do you want?
Why do you even care?
True, he is not a child of Adam, but he has sought refuge. What do you want?
I said it's my business.
Perhaps it is best that I leave his fate to Atom. In truth, this Virgil has caused some concern. Some believe his presence is an affront. Though he came to trade with us on a few occasions, we have had little other contact with him. It was quite... You can find him southwest of the crater, living in a cave.
Alright, so I'm all the way down here, and there's a damn storm going down. Ugh. This place is nuts. Holy crap. I'm not getting any rads over here. Oh, there's the rads. I guess if you go high enough, you don't get hit with rads, maybe? Same here, Strong. Please, bitch. I heal out here in the wasteland.
Until it was just right, but then you'd be in the way of the screen. Then you'd let go, and then the image would go bad again. So everyone would then tell you to stand there, holding the antenna. This was many moons ago. People used to live this way. It's true. I'm just thinking, people they can sit in the couch, honey, where's the remote? You know, and like spend 10 minutes looking for the remote, rather than just going up to the TV to change the channel. Anyhow, back when TV was broadcast, which it still is, but a lot of people get it via cable today, TV waves would go straight out. And so too would shortwave radio would go, well, it depends on which wavelength you use. Some would reflect off the ionosphere of the Earth and stay sort of trapped. Others would escape. But if you take the inventory of what these programs were, you can say, hey, we have this growing sphere of influence in the galaxy, beginning with our earliest broadcast. They've been going now for 70 years. So, in fact, we are in the middle of our own radio bubble that has a radius of 70 light years. It's a radius that has washed over all the stars that fill that volume. Hundreds of stars.
It's not going to work.
And so, we've already announced ourselves to aliens, if they're there and want to listen.
You're gonna end up
So,
just as dead if
the
you don't
earliest
give
of
me
these
what I want.
programs
Dead.
would be, and so the aliens would listen in, right? They get the feeble signal, but then
Don't you
with their
lie
alien
to me.
I killed him myself. I don't have time for this.
If you are telling the truth, then you must understand my skepticism. Kellogg was ruthless. There's a reason the Institute used him to do their dirty work for so many years. I knew they'd send him after me. Tried to prepare for it. But I still wasn't sure I'd make it. And so you killed him, eh? Then what do you want with me?
Why did you leave the Institute? I know you came from there.
You know about the escape? But how? No, it doesn't matter. Why are you even here?
Quit your whining.
It's not whining if... Wait, what? You want to get into the Institute? Are you insane? Never mind how nearly impossible that is. Even if you were to succeed, it'd almost certainly end in your immediate death. What reason could you possibly have for taking that kind of risk?
They kidnapped someone, and I want him back.
Oh, no. Look, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't realize that's what you were after. I can help you get in there, but I want something in return.
Of course you do.
I'll think about it.
I need some assurance from you. Come on.
What do you want from me?
Before I had to escape, I was working on a serum that would serve as a cure for my condition. I wasn't able to bring it with me. It's still in my lab and, well, look at me. I need it. I need you to find it for me if you managed. What do you say?
You help me and I'll help you.
All right.
Giant
All right.
brain idiot.
Let's talk details. First things first. You know how...
I'm not sure, but I've seen some strange...
I'll bet you have. It's commonly referred to as the molecular relay. I don't understand all the science behind it, but it works. Dematerializes you in one place, rematerializes you in another. The relay is the only way in and out of the Institute. That means you're going... Now, have you...
No, never heard of them.
Another secret of the Institute. Trust me.
Blah, blah,
Coursers
blah.
are Institute
Blah,
synths,
blah, blah.
designed for one purpose. They're hunters. Operations go wrong, a synth goes missing, and they're very good at what they do.
That sounds like suicide.
It does, doesn't it? If there were another way, every Courser has special hardware that gives them. It's embedded in a chip in their heads. You need that chip. Now, I don't know exactly where you can find one. They haven't sent any after me. And sitting here waiting doesn't seem like a good plan. You're going to have to hunt one down. I can tell you where to start and give you some help finding one. But you'll have to do the dirty work.
I don't see why you can't do this.
Back in the Institute is the last place I want. The primary insertion point for Coursers is in the ruins of CIT. Now, the relay causes some pretty heavy interference all across the... When you get to the ruins, tune it to the lower end of the band and listen in. You'll be able to hear the interference. Follow the signal, and it'll lead you to...
Whatever.
Not gonna lie. The odds aren't in your favor here. But if I... Human not like smell? Smells like camp of Strong's brothers.
Protect and serve.
Excuse me.
Good luck finding a Courser chip. You're gonna need it. You find a Courser, don't underestimate it. The chip's no good if you're dead.
What would the big fingers make him double type letters? He has pencils, he could just type with a pencil. I mean, it's funny, but maybe he's not thinking about it. Positive. Positive.
Hey.
What needs smashing? Good meat, not too fresh. Have some, human.
What's on your mind?
Strong not trust Virgil. Not real super mutant. Make Strong angry.
Anything you want to talk about?
Human is good leader.
Anything you want to talk about?
World is bigger than Strong knew.
How do you think
Human
things
is
are
like
between us?
other humans. Smart but weak. Strong stay with human for now. Find a courser, don't underestimate it. The chip's no good.
Protect and serve.
Whatever. Whatever happened to the...
Hey.
What? Here.
That is stealing. Commencing attack.
Whoops.
I'm not an idiot. I know you...
How could you possibly
Giant
know?
green idiot.
It doesn't matter. Why are you...
Quit your whining.
It's not what you want. Never mind. What reason?
They kidnapped some...
Oh, look.
Not a chance. I'm not doing it.
Then I'm afraid. Good luck finding you.
Hey, Virgil.
What? Human not like smell?
You're gonna help me.
You're off to a great Do you see the size of these arms? I don't think you want to start off. Who the hell are you anyway?
Don't change the subject. I'm the one asking questions here. I want to know about...
The Institute. What makes you think?
You and I both know you were part of the Institute.
How do you know that? No. Why are you...
Quit your whining.
It's not whining. You want to get into the... Never mind how... What reason?
They kidnapped.
Oh, look. I can help.
You help me and...
All right. If I help, it could return me to normal. I think. All right? First thing...
Not really, no.
Almost no. It's commonly deemed the relay is the... That me? No.
No, never heard of it.
Another coursers are institute operation. They're very...
That sounds like suicide.
It does. Every course, it's embedded in it. Now I don't... You're going to have...
I don't see why you...
Back in the primary... Now, when you get to the ruins, follow this... Not gonna lie.
Blah, blah, blah. Where's Strong? Strong?
Hey.
Strong listening.
Hey.
Good meat. Not too fresh.
That was all I had.
smart aliens, so they can figure it out. We code the carrier signal to the main thing. We get the image, and there's howdy doody. Okay? And then they see, listen, an interesting species. Let me figure out how the male and the female interact with one another. And they learn that from early episodes of I Love Lucy. Yes. These are benchmark ways that men and women interact. And then as the radio wave continues to wash over, then they have episodes of Gomer Pyle. You know, and you think about this is our first introduction to the aliens. This is kind of scary. Now, there's some programs that they would never get. Programs that have only ever been broadcast over cable. Like, okay? So, there's certain things that are good that's not the first thing the aliens get. Some programming is forever hidden in the electrons of your coaxial cable. So you look at this and you say, what will they think of us? You know, and then they get broadcast that there was like an atomic bomb and 100,000 more, and I am certain that these aliens who are in desperate search themselves for intelligent life in the universe, they will conclude that Earth does not contain intelligent life. And pass us by. What are we doing up tonight? We got a few more things to talk. Are we okay? Like, you cool? Everybody got, like, be somewhere after this? I just want to make sure that we're okay. I don't want to mess up your plans for later. Where are we going? So, when the universe turns bad. Well, that contains the title chapter. Death by black hole. Now, to get in trouble with the black hole, you gotta go out and find it. There aren't that many of them in the galaxy, so you're looking for trouble if you die for having fallen into a black hole. I'm just letting you know that now. But if I had my choice, that's how I would die. Because it is so cool. Alright? Well, you can say, well, Dr. Heiss, would you like to sort of die in this hospital bed, in this hospice? That's what they call it, hospice. I said,
I need to speak with you.
Launch me to the black hole right over there in the gamma sector, all right?
That's
how I want to do it. So, here's what happens. You stand up.
Tell me more about
Earth,
Adam.
Atom gave birth to this world and all worlds, and
my
within this
feet
world,
are closer
he
to
gave
the
us
center
the
of the Earth
promise of
than the
infinite
top of my head
living.
is.
We are,
You can do the
all
math
of
and you
us,
can calculate that the
we
force of
spread
gravity
Atom's word and
between
his
Earth and you
gifts
is
to
stronger
those
at your feet than it is at your head.
I need to speak with
Because
you.
your feet are
What do
closer
you need of
to the
me,
center of the
child?
Earth. It's simple.
It's nothing.
Newtonian
Worry not,
gravity.
child.
But you don't feel that difference. Like, don't blame being lightheaded on this fact, right? That's not what made whatever you is not this. So here you are, and you don't notice it because your body overcomes it. It's barely measurable. And why is it barely measurable? Because you are tiny. I am tiny compared with the size of the Earth. This is 8,000 miles in diameter. Well, going to the center is 4,000 miles to the center, and I'm 6 feet standing on top of it. That's nothing. A black hole, however, because it's so small, you can get much closer to it compared with your height. And so what happens is you descend to the abyss, and your feet so imagine a feet first dive to the black hole. And so you start getting pulled, and you begin to stretch. And that kind of feels good. You know, we all it's what you do when you wake up in the morning, you stretch. People pay top dollar to stretch. What do all the yoga people do? They stretch. Okay? And it feels good until you realize it's not stopping. And you say, okay, I'm not having fun anymore. And now, by the way, this difference in gravity is called the tidal force. It's the same kind of forcing that creates tides on Earth. While water stretches across Earth's surface. So as you get pulled, you begin to feel it. And there is a point where the difference in gravity between your head and your toe becomes greater than
I'm worshipping Adam with him.
molecular bonds of your flesh.
Adam will lead us all to glorious days.
And at that moment, your body snaps into two
May the
pieces.
divide bring you peace.
Excuse me.
And then
The world
those two
will
pieces
see
continue
Adam's
to
glory
descend.
again.
And then
divide
feel this
comes.
difference in gravity.
Word of
And then
Adam's
they
glory must have
snap
spread to all.
into 2 pieces each. Now we went from 1 to 2, we're now up to 4. Continue. We got someone in the front row who's plugging his ears. He doesn't want to hear about getting snapped into 2 pieces. And this continued. 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32. You keep
I'm
this
a little
up.
ghoul.
You're not much of anything after a short while. You're just this stream of particles descending down. Now, it turns out that's not even the worst thing to happen to you. It gets worse. Because in a black hole, the vicinity around of this fabric of space and time, in the vicinity of a black hole, funnels you. It narrows as it comes near the black hole. This is what we learned from Einstein's general relativity. It describes the shape of space in the presence of gravity. And you do up the math, you find out that at a black hole, space funnels down to the point. So as you descend the black hole, you are not only stretched, you are extruded through the fabric of, and you move through the fabric of space and time like toothpaste through a tube. And we have a word for this.
Spaghettification.
Spaghettification. That's cool.
Doc.
There's a word.
This better be an
We're dying
emergency.
while falling into a black hole.
Patch me up, Doc.
Go over your symptoms.
Spaghettification.
Feeling sick. I think it's radiation.
We'll clean you up.
I don't know if it's fusilli spaghetti, I don't know, whatever, but it's, number 2 spaghetti, number 8, whatever that is. Any pasta aficionados here?
That's that.
Angel
Anything else
hair.
bothering you?
No, we're done.
Angel
All right.
hair pasta. That's the
Don't
thinnest
ruin
of
my
them, if I
hard
remember
work by
correctly.
dying out there.
Because they measured the thickness of
I
Angel's
like
hair.
Dr. Stone. He's a very good
Determined.
guy. It's a great character.
So you want to avoid black holes. And by the way, they tear up the environment. We got a big one in the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Although it's not the biggest in the neighborhood. There's the Andromeda galaxy, our nearest big neighbor. It's got one that dwarfs our black hole.
Hey. Need strong
And some astrophysicists have like black hole envy. It's like, well, how come ours isn't as big as that? Because there's like cool stuff happening in the middle of the Andromeda galaxy because it's got a bigger black hole than we got some cool stuff, but theirs is cooler. And what we learned is that most galaxies indeed have black holes in their centers. And the properties of so many galaxies previously imagined to be distinct and separate and classified as distinct objects, turns out it's just a matter of what angle we were viewing the turbulence created by the black hole in the center. So there's been a tremendous coming together of galactic information just over the past 10 or 15 years, simply because you're looking at a galaxy from a different way. And so black holes, you really simply just want to avoid them. I got a chapter in here which I think is my favorite, a section in here which I think is my favorite. It's when science meets culture. And in fact, if you're a little science phobic, which is probably not true if you even knew how to get into this museum and come to this room, but maybe you were dragged here by a friend. Raise your hand if you were dragged here by a friend tonight. We've got somebody in the back row, another one here. Brave of you, sir, to be dragged, to agree on your, on your Tuesday night to come here. Thank you for coming. That section is an exploration of what happens when science meets culture. And I want to highlight a couple of items in it. I've got fear of numbers. This one is kind of fun. You look around, you go in an elevator. This is the first indication that we are number phobic, okay? So you got the numbers, and then you get to the lobby, so you count them down, and it's not a 1, but it's an L. That's the lobby. But then there are always floors below the lobby. And then there's like LL, and B, and then BB, and then SB. And I'm thinking, what are you doing here? Just call it 0, -1, -2, negative. No, sirree. No negatives in this culture. Any accountants out there? No negatives on your balance sheet. You put your negative numbers in parentheses. Are you afraid of your negatives? Raise your hand. If you're an accountant here, raise your hand. Accountant, right there. Why? What's with you and the negative numbers, sir? Please, I gotta know. this one, okay? It's in parentheses. I was in a hotel in Geneva, Switzerland. They had negative numbers in their hotel. It went to 0, -1, -2, -3. And then I realized, of course, Switzerland, that's where the world's largest particle accelerator is located. People there are not afraid of numbers, so they can put negative numbers in their hotels. Another thing, take a walk up and down Broadway right here in Manhattan, in New York City, and go poke your head into each elevator bank, and you will find out that 75% of them, I did this experiment, do not have a number 13. Check it. Have you seen this? Look next time. And I'm thinking, this is
70 and
21st century
70,
America.
51.
Next time, I'm gonna get a Sharpie and cross out the number 14 and put 13 next to it. I'm gonna say, who are you fooling? That's the 13th floor. So you have people afraid of the number 13. If people are afraid of numbers, what hope do we have in this world? This is scary. Just afraid of a number. You know about the lottery? The state lottery. Okay? It's widely said that that's a tax on the poor, because people with lower incomes spend a disproportionately higher fraction of that income on the lottery. And if you look at the data on the lottery, your chance of winning 1 in 5 million or something, and I'm thinking to myself, no, it's not a tax on the poor. The lottery's a tax on everyone who never did well in mathematics in school. That's what it's a tax on. And you don't have to do that well in math to figure out that's not what to do with your money. Man, it gets me angry. I gotta calm down. All right. Where was I? Let me add it. Okay, I got another one. One of my most highly requested essays. It's called Hollywood Nights. This one, I'm going to apologize in advance. Yes, on occasion, I'm one of those, if you bring me to the movie theater, I'm going to say, that's the wrong sky. They just put the moon, and that's the wrong moon. And I will be annoying as I sit next to you, but only on selected films. If the film has no pretense of getting any facts straight at all, then I don't even give it the time. I might even still enjoy the movie, but I'm not going to worry about it. But there's some films that had no excuse. At the top of that list, Titanic. We know what day it sank, what month it sank, what year it sank, what longitude, what latitude. We know everything about that night. So why is it then that Kate Winslet, after the ship sank, there she is on that wooden plank. Okay? By the way, why didn't Leonardo DiCaprio try to climb on there with her? What? Why not? At least experiment. He just clings on, okay, I'll just die here. I'm fine. I'm okay with that. It's like, what? We'll find another plank? There's got to be some other floating stuff out there. Where was I? That was Kate Winslet. So there she is, and she's whistling in delirium, and she's looking straight up. There is only one sky she should have seen. And the sky that the camera showed you was the wrong sky. Not only that, the left side of that sky was a mirror reflection of the right side of the sky. It was not only wrong, it was lazy. And here's a film that was widely advertised as having they sent a submersible, Jim Cameron sent a submersible down to the Titanic and looked at the wall sconces and the china patterns and all the designs of the stateroom and got every rivet, every design perfect on his ship for his movie. Now, you can't double check any of that because you don't have a submersible. But for $50, you can buy a planetarium program to tell you what the sky looked like the night the Titanic sank. So I was pissed. So I wrote a letter. I rushed back to my office, got my finest of letterhead. I got letterhead, got all 5-color letter, astrophysicist. I got everything on that letter. The director, Frederick P. Rose, director that, I got it all in. And I wrote the letter. No reply. I said, I tried. I did due diligence there. A couple of years later, I bumped into Jim Cameron in Washington. Actually, not this time. I bumped into him in Pasadena, California. There was a NASA meeting out there. In fact, he was very active with NASA. And he's an explorer, a genuine explorer on top of his other formidable talents as a movie producer and director. So he's there, and I said, I sent you a letter a couple of years ago, Mr. Cameron. I sent you a letter a couple of years ago about this and the sky, and it wasn't right, and I was kind of, all right? And he said, well, actually, that happened in post-production, so he missed that one. So I was still angry. I don't know. I was not a good enough answer for me, but that was the answer. We missed that one. Fine, so 2 years after that, no, what are we up to? This happened now we're up to 2003. Just a couple of years ago, he was honored by Wired magazine with a big party here at the Rose Center for Earth and Space. And just because, it's my place, I got invited.
We offer a wide variety of medical treatment.
There's like 8 of us. He and some of his closest friends.
I need some supplies.
And we're there. He's with his friends.
I suppose I could
Wine
spare
is
some
pouring.
stomachs.
I said, here's my big chance to do it again. Okay? No, I'm just being immature at this point. So I said, Jim, because I can call him Jim. We're drinking wine, you call him Jim. So I said, Jim, a couple of years ago, I told you about the sky, and I'm still kind of wondering, why didn't you think, what? And so he said, let me think this one. Last I checked, Titanic has grossed about $1 billion worldwide. Imagine how much more it would have grossed if I had the sky correct. Can I make a bigger fool of myself in front of him? So then I just let that one go. I was done. Until 2 months later, I get a phone call from some guy. He says, hi, I'm Johnny Jones. I forgot the guy's name, but Johnny. Everybody who I forget is just Johnny Jones. So he goes and says, I'm working in post-production for a reissue with the director's cut of the Titanic. And Jim Cameron tells me you have a sky for me to use for the new footage. Now, he couldn't change all the skies, the ones that were already sort of built in, but the new footage had the new sky. So, it is possible. It is hope in the world. And while I make fun of Jim, and the fact is he's a man of high integrity with regard to what he produces and what he cares about. And so I just wanted to tip my hat to him in that episode. And for politely putting me in my place. Without actually just telling me that
we're having a sale on
what he really wanted to surely have told me.
Let's see what you got.
I got one more, and then we'll just go to Q&A. How's that? Are we okay? We okay? Is the temperature all right out there? Yeah, I'm okay up here, too. So I'm glad. The final section it's called Science and God, When Ways of Knowing Collide. And that section contains my most highly downloaded essay ever, written relatively recently. It's called The Perimeter of Ignorance. And I want to share with you some of the themes of that essay before we go to Q&A. I wrote that essay at a time when the intelligent design movement was garnering headlines weekly. And the intelligent design movement, in case you've forgotten or never knew or weren't paying attention, but you're a newspaper reading crowd, so I'm sure you were all there. Intelligent design is the assertion that there are things about nature that are so intricate, so sort of brilliant in concept, that it just couldn't have, and so defying of the methods and tools of science to decode, that it must have had the hand of an intelligent designer. And intelligent in that reference refers to something vastly more intelligent than our feeble human minds. And so that's the premise. So you go around, look through nature. Oh, that's one of those. That's intelligently designed. That's an intelligent. Now, it's hard to separate the invocation of the word intelligent in that sense with a reference to somebody's God. So you have to ask, is this a religious movement? Or is it a movement of some pure philosophy, untouched by it? You have to ask that. And the courts ask that of the movement. And the famous court case, Dover, Pennsylvania, November, just last November, where the school district tried to bring intelligent design into the science classroom as a science plan, as part of the science curriculum. And the judge read the evidence for and against intelligent design and basically threw the court case out.
So am I strong, so am I.
135, 150-page statement about why science, to do science, you need data and this sort of thing. And intelligent design didn't fulfill that. So here was this debate going on. And I don't jump into debates unless I think I have something unique to contribute. If you have a lot of voices, I'm okay. Go, do it. Let me find something that needs voices. Okay? That one didn't really need my voice. There were plenty of people arguing.
Run the bases.
Polly.
But then I thought,
right
wait,
here.
it's missing something.
Let's see what you have.
I've got to
Check out
address
these.
it. And you know what is missing? Intelligent design, that's what you call it today. But as an idea, it's been around for thousands of years. In AD 150, Claudius Ptolemy, one of the architects of the geocentric universe, Earth in the middle. It happened to be a wrong model, but it was brilliantly wrong. And it forced people to think about what's going on in the motions of the objects of the night sky. When he looked up, he'd see the planets move. This is pre-Newton, of course. He'd see the planets move, and then they slow down, stop, and then go backwards. And then slow down, stop, and then continue forward again. Nobody understood this. It was like a mystery. So Ptolemy would look up, and he penned these words in the manuscript of his greatest work. He said, "When I trace at my pleasure the windings to and fro of the heavenly bodies, the planets and things, I no longer touch earth with my feet. I stand in the presence of Zeus.
You want your
himself,
meat sliced thin?
and take
You
my
can cut it
fill
your damn self.
Let's see what you have.
Just pulled this lot
There is
from the
basking
freezer.
in the majesty of his god, Zeus, almost in celebration of his ignorance. I don't know what this is, but surely somebody does. That's Zeus. And I'm here with him. So that's a form of intelligent design. He looks at something he can't figure out. His tools available to him do nothing for him. So he says Zeus did it. Let's move forward. I'm going to leave some people out, but they're more of the same examples. The essay has them all. Let me fast forward to Isaac Newton. We're not going forward 1,700 years, 1,600 years. Fast forward to Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton's my man. I think he's the smartest person to ever walk this earth. And I'm not alone in that
Da Vinci, though? Come
Now, if you
on.
want to fight me on that, we can do that. I'll give you just one example, and then they'll just to sort of temper you if you're ready to go to fisticuffs, because like Einstein's your man, or Leonardo, or whoever.
Yeah.
I'm going to set you straight. Okay? Isaac Newton discovers. Well, first he's got to put the indigo in there, or gets that out of the way. Then, all right, actually did that second, but he discovers the laws of motion and the laws of gravity. And someone comes up to him and says, Ike, I don't know if he meant by Ike, but sounds better. Ike, why do planets orbit in the shape of ellipses and not some other shape? An ellipse is a kind of squashed circle. So he looks and he says, because by the way, his equations of gravity give you ellipses. And so said, well, I don't know. I'll get back to you. So he goes back home to his home in Lincolnshire, which is out of way triple suburbs of London. Newton was avoiding the plague that was running through London, killing many, many people. He left London. Newton was smart, okay? He left London. People are dying. You leave, okay? First indication of how smart the man is. He left London, went to a hillside home in Lincolnshire, goes back. I forgot how long this took, but it wasn't very long. It was, you counted in months, not in years. So he goes back, figures out why his planets go in ellipses, and he comes back to, I figured out. Here's why. And his friend, who he corresponded with by mail, said, that's great. What did you have to do to figure this out? He said, oh, I had to invent integral and differential calculus, and that helped me solve this answer. We struggle with our calculus class, and Newton invents it on a dare just to get something else done.
Hey, it was not certain that he's the one that invented it.
And he did this before he turned 26.
Fucking Newton.
I could go on. Here's a story shared to me by
It's crazy. But Newton was like,
C-SPAN, how you doing?
had mental issues though.
I gotta get this other quick story on Newton. This is conveyed to me by Rich Gott, a friend and colleague.
Oh my god.
He'd spent some time.
My friend just texted me, taking a dump right now with an exclamation point. He's so excited because he got this new toilet thing where it puts your legs up higher so it's like you're squatting. Weirdest text I've received in a long time. That text 22:55, almost midnight. Taking a dump right now! Exclamation point.
It's not a big river, it's like a stream. Well, a river, but it's a stream. He designed a bridge made of wood that enables you to walk across the bridge, to walk across the river. This bridge had no screws or nails in it.
Everyone needs it.
It was just wood pieces assembled together into a stable bridge. Then at some point, 100 years later, people figure, well, maybe we should clean the bridge or polish it up. So they take apart the bridge.
Gotta pick me up if you're feeling
And they can't
glum.
figure out how to put it back together.
Let's see what you have.
Chems for a balanced lifestyle.
So they got nails in it now. Isaac Newton. Also, he's responsible for the ridges on coins. Where'd that come from? Well, he was so famous in his day, the government had to reward him somehow, so they made him Chancellor of the Exchequer. So he tracked British currency, made sure there was no counterfeiters, and it was his idea to put ridges on coins. And that's why today we have ridges on our coins. You wonder why?
cares about
It's not really
you.
relevant to anything, but
Hey,
I did kind of lead you there, didn't I? So the ridges, it turns out, in the old days,
Let's see what you got.
made
Got
of
your fix.
precious metal, right? Not today. But back then, the coin was silver or gold. So a coin comes into your possession, and you say, nobody will notice. Let me just file off just a little bit of the edge and collect it in a little vessel. Nobody will notice. Then if I do this enough times, I'll have a pot of gold. Now, you think you're the only one thinking this, but everybody's thinking this. And so the coins just got smaller and smaller and smaller. And so he said, we got to do something about it. You put ridges on it. The ridges are wiped away. You decline to coin. Takes a brilliant man to come up with something that simple. And so all our coins, dime and up, have ridges. And no one wants to file copper off your penny. All right? There's a point where you just don't put in the ridges. All right? It's like, keep the penny. All right? Yeah, put the whole penny in the thing. No one's gonna hurt, no one's gonna miss it. So where was I? Back to intelligent design. So here's Newton. So I think I made it clear to you what I think of the man. So, he solves his equations for gravity and says, okay, it's a two-body problem. So he figured out Earth, Moon, I think working. Figured out the sun and the Earth. He's got it. He figured it out. Figured out the sun and each of the planets. But then he realized that as Earth comes around the bend, and Jupiter happens to be out there, that not only is the sun and Earth pulling on each other, Jupiter is tugging on Earth. Every time we come around the back stretch, Jupiter is tugging. And I come around, I gotta go a little further because Jupiter went further, and I come around, I get the tug again. And so he looked at this. We got the major gravity, and then we have these minor tugs. And he tried his best to figure this out. He said, this system is unstable. You keep this up, the orbits will get distorted out of recognition, and Earth would fly off into space. Yet somehow we're all still here. And somehow the orbits are pretty circular. And they're ellipses, but not bad ellipses. So something is keeping things stable. And for the first time in his entire record of his discovery of the laws of mechanics and the laws of gravity, in this tome, one of the greatest science books ever written, and it's called Principia. In that, for the first time, Isaac Newton says, God must step in. Fix things. He didn't mention God talking about his formula F equals ma, his formula for motion. He didn't talk about God when he knew and figured out the motions of the planets and his universal law of gravity. God is nowhere to be found. He gets to a point where he can't answer the question. God is there. That's intelligent design. Something he couldn't figure out. There it is. He didn't say, maybe someone else smarter than I am will figure this out one day. That's not what he said. And so, this concept of reaching the limits of your knowledge and then saying God is there is old. It's not new. It didn't first show up in Dover, Pennsylvania. And we're not talking about uneducated people here. We're talking about some of the most brilliant minds the world has ever produced. So now what happened? Let's fast forward. It took 130 years, but somebody was finally born to solve that problem. Simon Pierre de Laplace, a brilliant French mathematician of the late 18th century. In the last 3 years of the 18th century, he produced a 5-volume tome called Céleste Mécanique. Celestial Mechanics in English. But he's French, so that's what it was. So in there, he studies the stability of the solar system. Develops, perfects a new branch of calculus called perturbation theory. And what he says is, okay, I can figure it out. Set up the equation this way. You've got the main force, and now you have these little tugs. Represent all these little tugs by this term in this equation. Now crank the equation. And when you do that, it turns out the little tugs don't amount to much. They all cancel out. And so that in fact, the solar system is stable. Beyond Newton's projections for it. Napoleon, who's a contemporary of Laplace, summoned up this document. Napoleon, he wasn't just a little tyrant. He studied engineering and physics so that he would know where his cannonballs would drop. Okay? That's at least half the reason why he was successful. You go to his library, which I visited, it's a whole wall of just physics and engineering and what's the study of materials? Metallurgy. All on the wall.
Hand-tooled pieces.
So he summons up Laplace. Said this is a brilliant piece of work. Napoleon was smart enough to have read this book. Knew enough math to have read this book. Gotten the main gist of it. Said, Laplace, this is a brilliant piece of work. But you make no mention of the architect of the system. And Laplace replied,
It's not needed.
Sir, I had no need for that hypothesis. And so here you have
Diamond City surplus.
a delay of 130 years of a problem that previously was ascribed to the handiwork of
Alright,
God.
Strong. Let's go see what weapons they have
Now
in the league.
was no longer an assumption. And it gets
Let's see
solved
what
by
you have.
somebody.
Don't forget to stock.
And so what we've learned over all of these examples, and there are tons of them, one
Bayoneted missile launcher. That is
intelligent
just
design
overkill.
is a philosophy of ignorance. It is you get to something that you don't understand, and then you stop. You say God did it, and you no longer progress beyond that point. And you're going to wait around. Now, here's what's inexcusably hubristic about that comment. You're going to come to this point, and you're going to say, I can't solve this problem. Neither can anyone who will ever be born after me solve this problem.
If you're thinking safe,
Therefore, it is intelligently designed.
I've got a few minutes to browse.
Don't forget to...
How dare you make that comment? Well, no, maybe it's true. But I don't want to put you in charge of the, Alzheimer's research, or of the cancer prevention research. No, I'm going to put you somewhere else. Put you on the factory line or something. I'm going to get you out of that frontier lab, because the discoveries are not coming from you. And so the issue in Dover should not have been kick ID out of the school system. No, it's we people have invoked it. You don't sweep that under the rug. It's a fascinating part of the chapter of in history. So put it in the philosophy class. Put it in the religion class.
Be caught dead.
Put it in the history
Protection
of science
from
class.
Commonwealth weaponry.
But because science is a philosophy of discovery, it has no place in the science classroom.
Shop in
That was my
safety. No
only
sense
argument.
allowed at the surplus.
It simply doesn't belong in the science classroom because it's not science. And that essay has been heavily downloaded. I don't know what people are doing with it, but I'm happy to have served in that capacity, to at least put it in context, so that people, if you engage in the conversation, you can do it in an informed way and not in some kind of a, emotionally driven, irrational way. In a similar case, which came after this book, just a month ago, mid-December, do you remember this case? There's a Jersey kid who taped his history teacher telling the students that they'll burn in hell if they don't accept Jesus as their savior. And he said that the Big Bang and evolution is not scientific, and that Noah's Ark carried dinosaurs. And and once again, plenty of people arguing that out. And I said, let me stay away from that. But then I said, no, I got to come back. All right. I'll tell you why I came back. It was being on the First Amendment, separation of church and state. People said this is a violation of separation of church and state, and it can't happen, and it's public tax money, and there was a whole amendment conversation going on about why this should not have happened. And I'm thinking, no, wait, no, stop. And I said, it's got nothing to do with the First Amendment. It's got nothing to do with legalities, the ACLU. It's got nothing to do with any of these people. What it has to do with, so it's not the separation of church and state. It's that if he says the Big Bang and evolution are not scientific, and that Noah's Ark carried dinosaurs, what's really going on here is that it's not that you want to separate church and state, it's that you want to separate
stupidity,
ignorant, scientifically illiterate people from the
nice.
ranks of teachers. That's what you need to do in that case. Now, if he had only said, Jesus is your savior and you got to take him and he's your... Okay, then it's the religion, put the religion somewhere else problem. But if he's also going to say that Noah carried dinosaurs on the ark and claim that that's true, I don't care what religion that comes from, that is demonstrably false. We know, I went to the museum, we got dinosaur bones in this museum. We know where they came from, okay? They long predate human beings. Long predate human beings. By 65 million years, perhaps. So, I actually wrote that letter to the New York Times, and they published it in letters to the editor. I don't know if you caught it. But it was like 6, I was just it was just a little, I had to get that off with you. assessments of ourselves. There's been a long trend in the history of science to basically tell us that we are not unique in any way that one might measure, in any sensible way one might measure that. We thought maybe Earth was something unique in known universes. No, it's just another planet orbit around a unique star. No, the sun is just one of 100 billion stars in a unique galaxy. No, we got 100 billion galaxies.
I thought that was a glitch. Didn't realize someone was shooting at me.
And that's kind of where we are now, right? Are we sticking with one universe? Or are we going to follow in that trend and say maybe there's a multiverse, which is one of multiple universes? We've got top people working on it. Now, among the things we like to tell ourselves is that we are smart as a species. Smartest species there ever was. And we celebrate that fact. We say we're human and they're not. We can compose poetry. We create symphonies. We sonnet, calculus. Not all of us invent the calculus, but we at least study it. Okay. Now, you know our closest genetic relative is what? Yeah, chimpanzee. And depending how you measure it, it's high 90s in percent of DNA that we share. Now, if you ask a chimpanzee, oh, excuse me, what's the Pythagorean theorem? Chimpanzee is not going to give you the right answer there. Now, I will give you, however much time you need to teach it to him. He's not going to learn the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, let's get simple. What? Let's just give it the times table. It's not going to learn the times table either. Maybe up to 3. Or maybe just up to 1.
Hey, you disappear! No fair!
And that's my controller dying. I'm just assuming I have to climb this.
What's up, motherfucker?
Long division? No. But we can do all those things. So we're smart. Now, maybe we're not so smart. Now here's what keeps me awake at night. This is just kind of spooky. Are you ready? Okay. If the minuscule DNA difference between humans and apes, and other apes, or in particular, the chimpanzee, if the minuscule difference in DNA between us accounts for this vast gulf in intelligence, then maybe that does not represent a vast gulf in intelligence. Consider a creature, a species, with the same increment, small increment in DNA beyond us that we are beyond the chimpanzee. Just that little bit. Give it to them.
The coursers on the second
What
floor.
will they be
Still
capable
on
of?
site. Send reinforcements.
Look at what we're capable of compared with.
What's going on down there? How many of these?
What? Scared already? Wanted a fight?
Courser is now on the third floor. Order the second intruder in the east wing near the courtyard.
Who's there?
Scrub! I'm just getting started. brains!
Barricade stairwells and hallways if you haven't already.
I want this one.
Next time, fight better.
Nice.
We've lost contact with sectors 2 and 4.
I am a super mutant. I am unstoppable!
Who?
No point in running. No escape from Strong.
No one escapes from Strong.
Who's there?
Gone now. Pity.
Hey. God, I hope there's a bounty on
Chip! Now ask what would they be able
But
to us? And now think that one through.
Take him.
Okay? We put our toddlers in front of Sesame Street, and they learn their ABCs. They put their toddlers in front of Calculus Street. And by age 4, calculus is self-evident. What do we put on our refrigerator doors? We put the pasta collages on the refrigerator doors. What would they put on their refrigerator doors? Their kids come home with symphonies composed. And so Junior just did a, 4-part harmony, 9-part symphony today. Oh, isn't that cute that Junior did that? Oh, it's so cute. Our greatest intellectual achievements would be trivial expressions of the intellect. of a creature that had that small increment above us that we have above chimpanzees. They would show us to their fellow species as we show chimpanzees. They might take special interest in Stephen Hawking. They say, here's a special one among them, okay? Junior, see, you know the astrophysics you're doing in kindergarten? Well, in these stupid humans, he's better than you because he can do it in his head, okay? And he can do it in his head, and so they'll study him because he can do in his head what the rest of us have to write down or can't do at all. So he'd be a subject of study. And so here we are thinking we're great, thinking we're at the top of everything.
So you said you were strong.
It's because it feels good to cushion ourselves that way, intellectually, physically, emotionally. But the fact is, we may not be much at all. And that worries me because it might mean that there's some boundary in the universe that in fact we're just too stupid to figure out. Now, our advantage is every single one of us doesn't have to be completely smart because we accumulate discoveries. I don't have to invent calculus. Somebody else did. I can step on top of that and then try to increment it from there. So we're scaling this ladder rung by rung. So there may be some hope for us, but I don't want to approach this with some kind of large ego, thinking we're the top of anything. That's the source of most of the evils in the world, thinking you're at the top of something, when in fact you're not, or at least at best you're just the same. And the most profound concept that I can share with you in this book is the recognition that while it's humbling to recognize, it's humbling to see that we're not, we're small, we're kind of feeble, we're at the mercy of asteroids, but we got 2 or 3 pounds of gray matter here that at least figured out the stuff that we did. That's kind of cool. But not only that, we know enough about the universe to know that it's not that simply we are here and the universe is out there. You look at the chemical ingredients of life itself. Put them in order. In rank order. You get hydrogen, which comes from the water molecule. You get oxygen, which comes from the water molecule. You get carbon. It's the foundation of our chemistry. You get nitrogen. In order. And the next one is the most famous element of them all. It's on every single list. It's called other. Okay, so hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. Now you go, that's in life. Now let's turn to the universe and say, hey, universe, what do you have ranked among your elements? What's number 1 for you? Hydrogen. What's number 2?
Yes.
Helium. Well, if you remember from chemistry class, helium is inert. You couldn't do anything with it chemically even if you tried. So let's skip that. Next in the universe, oxygen.
Stupid
Carbon.
computers. Just
Nitrogen. Other, thank you.
Fall back to original position. The courser's nearing the elevator.
1 for 1. The same ingredients in the universe. Which itself is a bit humbling. If we were made of an isotope of bismuth, then you'd have an argument. You say, hey, we're rare stuff. Look at where we are, all right? But no. We're made of the most common ingredients in the universe. But those ingredients are traceable to the action of high-mass stars. They forge these elements in their core, destabilize, explode, spread their enriched ingredients, their guts, across the galaxy, creating environments where the next generation of stars will have the ingredients that can then make plants and people. And so, not only are we in this universe, the universe is in us. And I know of no more enlightening, ennobling, enriching thought than that. That is the thought I'll leave you with this evening. Thank you for your attention. We can hang out for questions, but some people have to go, so I don't want to stop that. Like if you park too far away or you live in Jersey or something. But you can hang out. I mean, how often can you hang out? Plus, and astrophysics being that 1 in a million thing. Here's the big chance. Okay, so you should wait until the microphone comes to you. Otherwise, no one in C-SPAN land will know what you asked. Okay, so why don't we come right here to the gentleman on the aisle? Right there.
The course is after the girl. Anyone alive needs to get up to the top floor immediately. That's an order.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Neil. I wanted to ask when the C-SPAN program would be, but before that, I have to ask: does any planetarium pay you enough to buy your pants this rip?
Oh. The question was, is my salary sufficient to buy pants that do not rip? This rip happened 2 hours ago, and I don't normally bring spare pants to my office. That would not look good to carry extra pants into your office. And so I had to ask myself, what do I do about this fact? Then I realized it's like fashion. You know, people pay top dollar for cut-up pants. So what I did was, I swear to you, it looked too clean. I said, if it's that clean, people will think I'm just stupid and didn't know that I had a rip in my pants. So I pulled the threads off so that it looks like they were bought this way. And now I look hip, okay? But that was not my point.
Really pissing me
I meant no disrespect by wearing
Just getting started.
It happened just a few hours ago, to my dismay. Okay. And I have no idea when they will air the C-SPAN program, but I'll give you the mantra: check your local listings, as they say. Okay, Sarah on the corner here, yes. And we'll give her a good workout.
Yeah.
And in fact, while I'm answering, I'll try to pick the next one so that you can stay in shape there. Yes?
Did James Cameron give you a special effects credit for the new
season? No, he did, but he did give me a free copy of the new release.
My actual question...
I'm a servant of public appetite. I don't look for credit.
Could anything survive a black hole? Would a bacteria be spaghettified? And also, would it theoretically be possible to build a ship, a spaceship that could go from a black hole? I would never thought of this. Have you ever thought about that?
This rips light from...
The answer to your first three questions is no. Have I thought about it? Yes. A bacterium will last much longer than you will because it's smaller, and the difference in force of gravity across a bacterium is much smaller than it would be for a human. So we'd have to get much closer before it would then become spaghettified. But it is a spaghettifying machine. You won't survive it no matter what on the way to the center of the black hole. You want to take in a ship? That would be the last thing you ever did. And don't expect to phone home when you get to where you're going. No, the ship is gone. The ship shares the same space as your spaghettified atoms at the center of the black hole. So have a nice day.
I have a two-seater.
All right. Right here on the second row. In orange. Orange dude.
You intimated at the end that when you don't know something, maybe you can speculate a little bit. I wonder if you mind speculating about black holes. A hole like a well with a bottom, or a hole making something that goes from some edge and universe. You intimated that might be a small distance, so it wouldn't be an identified.
Come on, asshole!
What would you speculate might be within a black hole? What do you think about that possibility? Of a possibility?
Did everyone hear that question? Yeah, just the question is, how can I speculate about what's going on inside a black hole? Does it? I'm going to paraphrase you a little bit. Is it a tunnel to somewhere else? Can we just dream up stuff that might happen inside of a black hole? Our laws of physics are pretty clear on this. There's the spaghetti equation that you're in spaghetti. There's no way around it. Now, it was once imagined that a black hole would be a portal to another part of the universe. Maybe you'd enter and sort of come out the other side before you hit the center. So spaghettification happens. You're aiming for the center. But Stephen Hawking just recently came out with a result that tells us that the black hole is not a portal to somewhere else because it remembers everything it ate. As you may remember, black holes evaporate. It's called Hawking radiation. What made him famous beyond his normal circles back in the 1970s, he recognized that the energy field, the gravity field of a black hole, could spontaneously create particles just outside the event horizon. This is the boundary between the point of no return and the point of return. It could spontaneously create particles there that would escape. And so these are particles hewn forth from the energy field of its gravity. What Hawking showed is that if I drop you in and we take an inventory of all the atoms that went in from your body, all the quarks, protons, electrons, let's get them, and then I wait 100 billion years, and I look at the slow evaporation that comes out, I will reconstruct the entire inventory of particles that went in, body and soul, when they first, 100 billion years earlier. So, the gravity field remembers the property of the matter that went in. And for that to be true, it means the information was not lost. It means the information didn't go somewhere else and leave town and show up on the other side of the universe. And while this was disturbing to science fiction writers, because they needed this as a vehicle to get around the galaxy, especially before the TV commercial ends, to get across the galaxy, would otherwise take you 100,000 years. Star Trek would be boring Trek, you know, without the warp drive. But I celebrated it as this amazing, spooky thing that black holes remember what they eat, even through the slow process of Hawking evaporation. If a black hole eats, it's going to get bigger. But if there's nothing around for it to eat, it'll just kind of hang there, and then it'll just slowly evaporate. They evaporate very slowly by this Hawking mechanism. Most of them are eating faster than they're evaporating. Let's go right here, front row.
This is a question about intelligent design. I don't believe in it, but don't you think there's some force, like a driving force in the universe that
Won't be able to pick this.
different shapes, galaxies, etc., instead of chaotic
Not me.
She suspects that there might be something going on in the universe because the level of, I'm paraphrasing, the level of order that you see with the beautiful spiral galaxies and elliptical, there's shapes that look like something that's going on there. Some larger sort of cosmic force. And what you must not have seen the galaxies that have collided and look like two train wrecks. You must not have seen those. Or the class of galaxies we call irregular galaxies that have no shape that you would point to. So you are pre-editing what you are pre-selecting things and saying, oh look, there's some interesting force going on there, when the rest of the universe is sitting there raggedy, and you're not commenting on that. So what I'm saying is, the moment you think something's beautiful and just take another look. I remember I was there. We were coming over a bridge with a friend, and he saw the sunset, the radiant rays, and he saw it's beautiful. God's talking to me. That's God. And I said, is this beautiful? Is that why you say that? And he said, yeah, it's just. And I said, well, do you think about God when you get a close-up view of the underbelly of a tarantula?
No.
Are you thinking, oh, beautiful? No, you're not, right? But it's in the same universe. And so if you're selective about the list you draw, then the universe could look like any philosophy you want it to look like. But once you take it all in, you realize that the universe wants to kill us. 99% of all the species that have ever lived are now extinct. Earth is not some cradle for life. It is a place that wants to kill us. Viruses, asteroids, earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes. And so we're running away from these things, and we find a little place that we think is safe, then the flood comes. And then, okay, now we finally got a place, now the temperature drops, we gotta put on clothing and get heat, and now isn't Earth so beautiful for us? It's like, no. So I would just be cautious about that. I understand the urge, but I understand, and on top of that, there are forces that make things round in the universe. In fact, I invite you, I didn't make it to this book. As much as I liked the essay, it actually didn't make the cut to this. I wrote an essay called On Being Round. And I talk about spiral galaxies and elliptical galaxies. You just Google Tyson on Being Round, it'll take you right there. There's a whole conversation of why things are round. And yes, it is a force, but it's not some mysterious Gaia thing we don't understand. We understand it. It is real, and we can calculate it.
But there's certain laws of physics that the universe follows.
I would rather reword that statement physics that describe the universe. Because the universe could care less about what we think of it. The universe is not obeying our laws of physics. So, but yes, that's correct. There are laws of physics. So, there are people who say that the laws of physics is the expression of God. And if you want to say that, nothing I can find. In fact, that's very close to Spinoza's.
Got it.
Spinoza's God was whatever you find to be the order of the universe, that is the expression of God. And that's a very different God from the God who's listening to prayers and that sort of thing. What's dinosaurs and parks. Those are different kinds of gods. Okay? And so that would be close to Spinoza's God. But be cautious there. Because in the days when no one understood what was going on in the heavens, that was used as evidence that it was the handiwork of God. Because why would you ever understand God, what God did? The fact that you didn't understand it was the citation of God at work. So now to say, we do understand it. There are laws. And also claim that that is the handiwork of God, that is riding both sides of that horse. And so I don't have a problem with it, but one needs to be aware of this philosophical trend where God is what you don't know and God is what you do know, so God is everything. And if that, then I'd ask, is fine, but is that going to help me make my next scientific discovery? If not, I'm going to put it over here and bring in the books that will. Why don't you pick now? And that way you can run around.
All right, we're going to take just about 2 more because we're really out of time.
But I mean, there are like 10 kids in this room. I want to get a kid question.
But yes, so let's see, kid. Here, okay.
How long ago was the Big Bang? By the way, how old are you, by the way? You're 8 years old. How long ago was the Big Bang? We looked at how fast the universe is expanding.
Are you here?
And then we said, okay, let's turn the clock backwards. And we watched the universe clock back. And when you do that, you find out that the whole universe was in the same place at the same time 14 billion years ago. So that's how long ago it was. Long before the history of Earth and our solar system and our galaxy. What kind of Johnny Come Another kid question for you. How black holes form? Excellent question. We have no idea how you make the big ones in the centers of galaxies. We've got topics working on them. But the ones that are just kind of laying around the neighborhood, those are the remnants of the death of high-mass stars. Some of the stars that explode to spread their guts, they will supernovas. They will leave behind their They'll leave to the side. In some cases, a neutron star, but a star impacted neutron. But if it has more mass than a particular threshold, that will further collapse to a black hole. Yes, and collapse time and space. Yes, and if that star, that now black hole, is not near another star, you could accidentally step in it and not know that it was there, unless you look carefully at what it did to the light from stars behind it, because it distorts the fabric of space and time, and you start seeing weird patterns of the light behind it, as though you dragged a lens across a funhouse lens across the field of view. So you need special funhouse lens watchers on spaceships, okay? Because if you don't catch this early enough, it would be worse than not catching the iceberg on the Titanic, okay? But sometimes they're near other stars, and then you can see the secondary star dying, and then you know to sort of step around that situation.
No way I'm cracking.
Uh-oh, I heard someone say, asteroid. Is there an asteroid in the house? Are you just worried? You just don't want to go extinct. That's your problem here? Okay, there is an asteroid discovered 3rd week of December 2004. Okay, good. It was discovered. And they looked for data from before and after. They got enough data to then calculate that. It just took about a week.
I don't know what to say.
This asteroid will come extremely
Don't
close
say
to Earth.
anything. Just get out of here.
Extremely close. So, saying when, we got some really impatient people here who want to like go for the hills when this thing happens. So, here goes, right? So they named it. Once they saw where it was headed, they named it. They called it Apophis. After the Egyptian god of death and darkness.
I can handle myself. No need to stick around.
We did not name that one Bambi. So, it is the size of the Rose Bowl. So take a rock.
Damn it, I can't kill him.
Volume of the Rose Bowl. That's how big this thing is.
Don't shoot!
It is hurtling through space. Depending on the angle you look at it, 10, 15 miles per second is its speed relative to us. Then, they figure out, well, how close is it going to get? They run it through the computer, and they find out that on Friday the 13th, in April, in the year 2029, Apophis will come close enough to Earth to dip below our orbiting communication satellites. It will be the biggest, closest thing ever observed in cultural history. Now, if you want to observe that, you go to Northern Europe, get your hotel rooms now, and that puppy will go straight on by. Now, that's just the entertaining part. It turns out the orbit is uncertain enough such that we can't tell you exactly how close. We know it's closer than the orbiting satellites. But within that uncertainty, we can't tell you. We don't know it yet. Because this thing is tumbling through space. It's hard to get the exact orbital parameter. But there is a window of orbits within the total range it can have, which if it goes through that keyhole, the gravity of Earth is just right.
Hey. Yet make no plans?
Just wrong. So that 7 years later, once again on April 15th,
Strong, better fighter.
Of course, strong, better fighter.
It will hit her.
Strong, best fighter.
If it goes through that keyhole.
Let's fight
It
strong.
will hit her. And if it goes to the center of the keyhole, we know where it's going to hit on Earth. 500 kilometers west of Santa Monica. It will plunge into the Pacific Ocean, go down a depth of about 3 miles, and then explode, cavitating the Pacific. Watch my pan ripping. Cavitate the Pacific to make a hole 3 miles wide and 3 miles deep. Oceans don't like having holes in them, okay? So, the act of making this hole sends a first pulse all across the Pacific. And there it is in motion. Then the walls collapse down in. It sloshes back into itself, rises high into the atmosphere, and comes back down, cavitating the ocean again. And this rhythm will repeat.
Damn.
Dozens of times.
This guy's armor
And each time this
is epic.
repeats, a pulse, a
Chunks
tsunami
of
wave
metal
heads
tied
towards us.
together.
Now, unlike
With
the
more chunks of metal.
By the way, you didn't hear about Apophis when
Not
it was
even
discovered
welded.
because its
Tied.
orbit was calculated the same week as the Indonesian tsunami. That's why you didn't hear about it. We knew all of this for 2 years now. We knew it. But justifiably, it was put in the back behind the Indonesian tsunami, but this tsunami made the Indonesian tsunami look like somebody just stepped into a puddle. Unlike the Indonesian tsunami, which just went smoothly onto the shores, unrelentingly, this tsunami will come to the shores but then cycle back to get ready for the next pulse. And again, and again. So what will happen is, the tsunami comes to the shoreline, it grabs the homes that were there, and then pulls it out. Okay? Then, time to go back to shore. And so now it comes back. Now the house has a different shape. Okay? The house is no longer a box. It is a tangled mass of construction materials. And so now it comes back, and it churns away all evidence of civilization on the entire west coast of the United States. Basically sandblasting it clean of all traces of civilization. How about 50 feet high? So 5 stories high. Now, there will be stupid people like surfers who want to say, let me get that wave coming in. There will be stupid meteorologists. Here comes the wave right here. Look, can I get the camera right here? Can you see that? You know these people exist, right? The hurricane's coming down on the Florida coast, and they got somebody there, you know, and meanwhile, Spider-Man's just trying to back up, away from the thing, while the reporter's reporting on the waves that are crashing on them. You know there'll be people who want to do this, but in principle, nobody has to die because we can predict when this will happen. Now, better than predicting when it will happen and telling everyone run for the hills, I'd rather actually do something about it in the first place. Like, deflect it. Hey, what an idea. And we got top people working on this one. You take a spaceship, bring it, this is the asteroid, and bring it up next to the asteroid. Here's the spaceship. And then it'll want to fall towards it. They have mutual gravity, but you put in little retro rockets to prevent it from falling in. If you do this early enough, you can actually gravitationally tug the asteroid out of harm's way. Because the act of preventing the spaceship from falling is tantamount
I almost jumped down the building.
The asteroid in your direction.
For no reason,
And all you have to do is pull it out of the keyhole. It'll still come by, and you'll still have to keep an eye on it later on. But if it's out of the keyhole, we're safe. Which brings up a whole other set of problems. Suppose you try to get it out of the keyhole and you miss, and then it goes to a different part of the keyhole, and then lands and hits another country. Had you never touched it, insurance forms would have called that an act of God. But now that you touched it, what do you call it? What is that? It's an act of war, right? So this is an unresolved political, cultural problem. And suppose it's headed for the Indian Ocean. Obviously, we're going to want to care about it if it's headed for the Pacific, because we're directly affected by it, with the most expensive real estate facing the tsunamis. But suppose it's somewhere else. Who pays for it? There's no mechanism that exists right now to resolve how to handle that problem.
The Prydwen,
There's no
and it's
international
operated by the Brotherhood of Steel.
We've got people working
The
on it.
Brotherhood of Steel are a formidable, highly advanced order, and they've come here to destroy Synths. Shit. Spread the word. The Brotherhood are our enemies. There's no possibility of peace. Tinker Tom will be spearheading a fail-safe plan to deal with this Brotherhood. Codename Red Glare. But for now, we monitor them and keep them clear of our operations. The focus remains on the Institute. You've all got jobs to do. Do them.
We're running cents out of wealth.
Huh?
Wastelanders can be a bigger problem than even the Institute.
Hi.
Carrington wants a word. Bet you never met a synth before.
Hey, Doc.
Ah, good, you're here. There's been a development. A raider gang has captured one of our agents, codenamed Blackbird. The twist is, Desdemona clings to the far-fetched hope that A, Blackbird is alive, and B, he can tell us what... So she wants you to...
If Blackbird's alive...
As you see fit. The dead drop has the...
Mm-hmm. Hey, Doc.
Are you injured? It's a wonder you and Glory don't set off metal detectors.
Yeah.
Now...
Feeling sick. I think it's radiation.
We'll clean you up. Don't...
I'm just gonna be an asshole real quick.
Now, was there anything else bothering you?
Oh. Oh, he didn't jump up this time. That's weird. Every time I come here, Carrington's sleeping.
The boys have been working on some new
all day.
toys. You want to take a look?
Show me what you got.
Made a new batch of whatnots for you.
Oh. Damn it. I yawned.
I have a report here. It reads more like a comic book. Apparently, one hell of a fight took place at Green Tech Genetics.
You people are damn nosy.
Nosy keeps us and you alive. I'm all for one less courser in the world, but I need to know why you killed him.
That's my business. I just need the code off this Courser chip.
You have one of their chips intact? Follow me. Now. Decoding a Courser chip is a very delicate operation. A million things can go wrong. The least of which is losing the data. Fortunately, we have the right man for the job.
Hey, Dad. You need something?
Tom, we got a Courser chip.
Whoa! For real? Oh, man, it's been ages!
You've hit the jackpot with this. Hand over the chip. Let's see what's on it.
No. I'll hold on to it for now.
When you're ready, let us know.
Desdemona.
Ready to hand over that chip, Agent?
I'm not sure I want to do this now.
When you're ready, let us know. Ready to hand over that chip, Agent?
What can we get off the Courser chip?
Those chips have more than just code. One minor detail could mean the difference between... Now hand it over and let's...
Here you go.
All right. Tom?
Blah, blah, blah.
Little Courser chip. Let's have the circuit analyzer take a crack at you. We're in. Chip access.
Oh my god, that's cool. He actually put a chip in there and everything. Last Fallout, you wouldn't have been able to see all that.
Don't crash.
I would have glitched out and...
Memory hiccup. Here it comes. Encryption algorithms. All right, we're still running.
Look at that, he's hacking it.
They've added more decimals to the last cipher. This is gonna be... Come on, baby. Show me that pattern. Where is it? Wait. They're using the same logarithmic function as the key generator. Oh, man, we got lucky. I got you, you Institute bastard. I got you. All right, solve for N. Come on. Show me that sweet bass note. Come on, baby. Then we got it. We got the code. Let me load that onto the holotape for ya.
Good work, Tom.
Yeah, but I'm not sure our luck will hold up next time, Des.
And Agent, I hope that helps you as much as you've helped us. Good work.
You gotta be careful, man. The Institute is everywhere.
You really walked the Freedom Trail? By yourself?
Processing. Further supplies needed to maximize defined goals. You are tasked with finding another DIA cache.
I can recover it.
Location of cache being
Ah, yes, our newest arrival. I trust you're learning to fit in.
Excuse me.
I hope you enjoy your stay in Diamond City. Looking back, you'll find that coming here was the best decision you've ever made for yourself.
Yes?
Shop in safely. No synths allowed at the surplus.
Don't be caught dead! Protection from Commonwealth weaponry!
Diamond City Surplus. Everything you need.
Don't walk outside the wall undefended. High quality protection for sale.
Synth-free shopping, right here.
Need some custom hardware? We got a free workbench for all your modifications. Scopes, clip sizes, barrels.
We buy and sell everything to everyone. Except synths. No synths allowed here. You. Well, I suppose we...
Let's see what you have.
Just don't call it junk.
Mm-hmm.
Protection for sale. Hand-tooled pieces.
Hey, over here. Hey.
Yes, human?
Remember, I don't serve synths.
Hi.
Every piece in here is worth what I charge for it.
Sure. Let's take a look.
A bit of everything.
Got some great stuff, if you're interested. I'm waiting.
I'll take a look, sure.
Don't forget to...
Just an ordinary diesel. Remember, Suarez will win you the...
Let's see what you have.
Baseball.
Latest hairstyle from the upper stand.
Fresh meat right here.
I'll take a look, sure.
As fresh...
Mentats, hoof out, stim packs, jet, everything to even you out.
The Super Salon can give you the hairstyle of your dreams.
Self-prescribed Kim. As recommended by me, myself, and I. Hey, man. Got a lot of chems.
Let's see what you have.
Self-serve.
hub of trade for all Diamond City right here.
Win the game, buy a swatter.
Who needs a haircut? Everyone needs.
The smooth sound of Diamond City Radio. Commonwealth weaponry.
The haircut. Step up.
We can talk about guns, or maybe you want to consider...
Let's see what you got.
Feel free to test...
Friend and colleague Rusty Schweiker, who's got a website, the V612 Foundation. Check it out, .org. numeral 6, numeral 1, numeral 2. That happens to be the name of what? That is the asteroid that the Little Prince landed on. Oh, isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? The asteroid will make us extinct, so it's not that cute. So anyhow, we would survive. That's not a species extincting asteroid. Apophis is not. It would just do a lot of property damage. And so even if it did hit, but it would be a bad day on Earth and the worst natural disaster ever. But again, nobody has to die.
Wasn't sure.
And so now I just totally bummed you out, you know.
What you need.
But anyhow, the universe is a fun place, and thank you for all just coming to hear me talk about.
For questioning
by the way,
whether you might survive against a courser.
I just learned.
Still, suppose I should have expected it.
This
You
coming
did
weekend,
get rid of
just
Kellogg
eat
after
onto
all.
the New York Times bestseller.
Not too much of a leap to
I
take
didn't know.
down Portia. How'd you manage to get it decoded?
Now, I don't know how long it'll stay
None of your
there.
damn business.
You know, who knows if a next Harry Potter book will come in and bump it out. Who knows? But it's that one way, and I've never been there before. It's a very good feeling.
I did the best I
only there
could.
because of
From memory and things I've overheard, came up with some schematics for you. Wasn't easy. These hands are... Here's the symbol.
I'll be outside to sign books. Thank you.
You need to build a device that will hijack the signal
Neil
the
deGrasse Tyson is
Institute
author of
uses
Origins,
to teleport
14 billion
coursers.
years of cosmic evolution. The Sky is not the limit. Adventures of an urban astrophysicist and his latest...
That classical music station, that's the carrier signal for the relay. All the data's on harmonic frequencies. You've been hearing it all along. I want to be clear that this isn't my area of expertise. I was bioscience, not engineering or advanced systems or anything.
Bioscience? Advanced systems?
Divisions within the Institute. Specialized, but if you can build this device and make use of that code, you should be able to... Can you? I mean, can you build it? You...
Have I given you reason to doubt me?
No. But do you realize how... And don't you forget our agreement. I've helped you as best I can. It's my only hope for ever being. Now go on. Take these and get to work. You do whatever it takes. Call on whoever you know to help you. Human not like smell? Smells like camp of Strong's brothers.
Hey.
Here, eat meat before it spoils.
Just curious what you're thinking.
Strong not true.
Are things all right between us?
Humans like other humans. Smart, but weak. Strong stay with human for now.
I wonder what a fight between Strong and I would look like. Dog's asking me to go to sleep, so I guess I'll go to sleep. Alright, I'll go to sleep with you, okay? Ah, tiene sueñito. Tiene sueñito. Qué lindo. It's like a death claw hand over there. Good night.